Greetings and salutations, friend. I am Jeremy Tank, and if you are watching this, I am your brand guy. What does that mean? Well, basically, you've got someone in your corner to talk about your brand, building your brand, your branding, all the kind of stuff that you need to really think about, the vision of where you're going, the values you're trying to hold tight and show the world through your business. It's the high-level stuff that, frankly, I don't think near enough people are talking about. They get caught up on the idea of marketing, but they don't really talk about the good old-fashioned of who you are and what you are sharing with the world in true value fashion. Just kind of sharing it out there. So I wanted to share today a little bit about motivation and comparison, because I've gone back and forth on this, whether I talk about it, whether I don't talk about it. And here's the reason why. In learning about RTT, one of the core fundamental foundations, okay, my words are lacking today, so I will try to do a little bit better here. One of the core foundations of RTT, Rapid Transformation Therapy, for those that are unfamiliar, it is a hypnotherapy working back to reframe subconscious thoughts, subconscious beliefs, the choices that you make on a subconscious basis that affect you now based on the experiences you had pretty much all throughout your life, but definitely between the ages of, even before you're born and about 7. So one of the foundational principles of RTT is the idea that you are enough. I am enough. And in fact, I want you to say it right now. I am enough. And if you're able to, type it and just make it pop up in a comment. I am enough. I want you to say this proudly. I want you to exclaim it. I want you to put it on your phone so that you see it every single day. I want you to put it on your desktop. I want you to put it on a sticky note, and I want you to place it all over your house. I want you to write it in lipstick on a mirror. I am enough. I am enough. See, the idea here is that when you came into this world, you came in essentially as a blank slate. You were, go back to the whole law of attraction quantum field theory, you were pure wave in a physical body. Your consciousness had the ability to tap into anything, to do anything, to move in any direction, to grasp, change, adapt, transform, create anything. And then slowly over time, through experience, that dulls. And it gets to the point that we get internal voices, internal dialogue telling us things, and we don't shine anymore. And that is a flippin' pity, because your truth is that you are that being who recognizes that you are enough. Say it one more time. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Okay? Until you hear it, until you really resonate with it, and internally, it's really kind of hard to think about this, because I know I certainly grew up thinking I was good and I was strong and I was capable. I was creative. But I've definitely had a lot of I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. Which, as I say again and again and again and again, one of the brain's primary mechanisms is comparison. So when we look at something, for me, it would be in high school, a girl that I liked, a girl I had a crush on. I would constantly be sitting there telling myself, I am not enough. I could never talk to her. I don't know enough about her life, anything. I always thought that there was another level that I had to reach, another something I had to do, some amazing, extraordinary feat that I had to accomplish. You know, it's maybe I've read too much Greek mythology. You know, I had to be the guy getting a golden fleece to impress some girl. But I always felt like there was something blocking me from being enough to accomplish these things. And it's very funny, because I used to hold on to those beliefs, and I used them to drive myself forward. So those were the things that would actually drive me to have gatherings at my house on a monthly basis, have people around me, because I didn't feel like I was enough. So I had to showcase, here's my house, bring people in, throw a party, do all sorts of crazy things. My beard is all wild today. Do all these things to try to prove to people that I was enough, when internally it was me saying, yeah, I don't really know about it. So I utilized this mechanism of not feeling like I'm enough to drive me into my career, into friendships, into events, into lots of things. And I'm honestly still working through it, right? If somebody isn't still working through things, they're fooling themselves, right? We are constantly trying to revise, revisit, reframe our experiences from youth, the ways that we felt. These are the stories that we tell ourselves. And unfortunately, these stories often, in RTT, I learned an I am not enough is one of the core stories that we end up teaching ourselves. And it has to do with just experiences and groups from growing up, from being part of anything. Another one is I can't. It's unavailable to me. And it kind of goes back to I'm not enough, right? Or I'm different. I'm not enough. I'm different. I can't go be with that person. I can't spend time with this other person because I'm too different from them. Well, a lot of that stuff becomes the story that we tell ourselves, how we see, how we view, how we manage ourselves and the world around us. And what happens is that those words become stuck. It becomes the story that we hear again and again and again. And because words have meaning, I don't even want to get into words have spelling. You can spell a word, which means there's magic in it, right? I love that. There's magic. You're a wizard, Harry. But there's magic in words, because these words infiltrate your mind and infiltrate your beliefs and trick you into believing something that isn't necessarily true. Now, where this comes back to me, as I thought about this today, I thought about what I'd share with you guys and what I wanted to say. It kind of for some reason, I got stuck on the idea that my dad, when he was super young, probably got spanked. And I am fairly certain that his dad, my grandfather, when he was young, got spanked. And for generations, I'm pretty sure, tracking back through history, spanking in certain cultures was a norm. Or send the kid out into the field, have them work really hard. Punishing children for doing bad things was the norm. And there are still families today that practice this. But what we find today, because psychologists, society, as a norm, we're moving beyond the idea of physical violence on a child for making a mistake. And that's good, right? I believe that if you're listening to me, you're following me, you're listening to this, you probably agree that hitting little kids is not a good idea. But it took generations for that whole thing to kind of come about. And my mom, I know certainly when I was very young and my parents were together, my dad was known to spank. I grew up with some of that. And when they were divorced, my mom was like, look, no more spanking. And if you're going to be punished for doing something that you intentionally did, that you know is against the rules, that you know is deserving of punishment, that you know better than, and you have made an intentional choice to the opposite, my punishment was then to stand in a corner, often for 10, 15 minutes at a time, which became which became honestly a very traumatic for me, because I recall standing in a corner, staring upwards at spiders crawling across the corners. And I don't recall any point before these sorts of punishments became a thing, being afraid of spiders. However, for years and years and years and years and years and years after that, I was exceptionally arachnophobic. And so I know that all of these things influenced me, but it's the transition of understanding that something is actually damaging to a child that eventually tends to shift it. And that can be culturally where we are now, where we have actually had studies done on people who are from abusive families that continue forward, and it seems to perpetuate abuse because the mind, the subconscious mind, our driving behaviors, believe it's standard, believe that that is what is appropriate. And frankly, because we are familiar with it from an adult point of view, the mind is much more likely to go, well, we're familiar, this is how we were punished, this is just how it's going to be. And that's not great, but it tends to be how things are perpetuated in so much of our society. Somebody else has done it, therefore it must be right, it must be okay. But we know now that that's not the case, that doing these things is exceptionally traumatizing to all aspects of the psyche, of all aspects of the brain, of all aspects of the person, and it perpetuates that sort of trauma. Now, my mom made the choice to change that behavior for her children. When she really had that ability, when it was within her control, she changed that choice. And that's the other way that societies eventually change. It's a much slower way. It is an individual way. It is the person deciding, that was not right for me. I recall how that felt. My mind is comparing how that felt as a child, as a younger person, and I don't want that for future generations. So they change that behavior. And that's good. A little bit slower, right? Because honestly, some people are a little closed-minded. Maybe they think without the data, without, hardcore science, without psychology. But then these are also the same people that frankly doubt science, doubt psychology, doubt data, doubt the things that you would study to figure out about. In which case, if you can't trust anything except for your own opinion, then you're no better than just your own opinion, and you are not the world. Sorry, it's kind of my opinion about that. If you don't have a reputable source outside of yourself, then it's just kind of yourself. And I'm just sitting here, again, riffing off the top of my head, because this is something that just kept popping up in my being, in my energy field today, and seemed like something to share. Now we understand that this is what happens with physical acts. They perpetuate through generations. But the truth is that this also happens with emotional violence and with the words used towards people. And this has also been studied and pretty well written about, that people who come from verbally abusive histories, verbally abusive relationships, tend to find themselves either on the victimized end or becoming the bully. And the reason, again, is that subconscious is grasping onto it and saying, how do I land in a space that is familiar, that is something I can deal with, I can cope with, because this is what I coped with before, so I know, it's basically familiar. It's not that it's good, it's just familiar. But there's the subtle angle. These are very broad concepts. They're sort of impacting society in lots of different tragic ways, traumatic ways. And then from my perspective, I'm looking at businesses. I'm looking at the way that someone wants to run a business. I'm looking at the way that someone wants to describe their business. I'm looking at the way that the words that they use and the thought processes that go into it. And I like listening to Alan Watts lectures, old Alan Watts lectures. I love that guy. And he, in several of them, he makes a reference of, the finger doesn't touch itself, the tooth doesn't bite itself, the eyes don't see themselves. You are all of these parts, and you can only reach outwards to discover the world around you. And that's the challenge when we are in these traumatic things without reflection. I'm very thankful to my mother who went through counseling, who went through lots of different aspects to discover these things about the life and about the life that she was living when she was married and when raising me when I was this high, basically, and made intentional choices based on the reflection she was able to have with a professional that she wanted life to be different. But a lot of times when people are thinking about their business, when they're thinking about the psychology of the words in their business, when they're thinking about the value that they bring to the world, and I use value in lots of different ways here, but really the value that you're bringing to the world has a lot to do with you and your personality and your grace and your gratitude and your compassion and your empathy. And all of that is creating this bridge with everyone around you to help you grow. But the words matter, and the words count. And the more I learn about neuroscience, the more I learn about the brain, the more I learn about individual perspectives, it becomes challenging because a lot of business people that I know, myself included, okay? Myself included. We start a business, and if we don't see results within this period of time, we think we feel unsuccessful. And we tend to compare with somebody else along that we feel is along the same journey as we are. And what happens is a lot of the pain, a lot of the trauma of, at least for me, not being enough, of feeling like I am letting somebody down, that I need to work harder or do things differently. These feelings tend to well up, and this is once again what I'm going to say, I am enough. Teresa, Patrick, I want you both to say it to yourselves later today, or even right now if you see each other. I am enough. You are enough. Remind each other that you are enough. I am enough. Because if you're not, if you get these sick, sad, scary, angry, guilty, shameful feelings, a lot of this is built in just the traumatic way that people use language with us, even the people who love us using this language, and it triggers a whole cascade of reactions later in life where we are now. And it's hard to get a bearing on life when we have these feelings, when they come up. And this is, yeah, there you go. We are enough. I am enough. Thank you, you guys. I love you guys. And I know that you guys are enough. You guys are wonderful. You are amazing. Everything you do is filled with such light. And I appreciate that. Because you're my people. and I appreciate that. But I still have voices inside my head that are triggering, that are negative, because I think that I should be at a different stage of my business right now. I feel like I am failing my family right now. Just reset that one. That one hit a little too true to home. Can you tell? Because I got the tears. That one is ooh. I'm just going to sit with that for a moment. Feel it, heal it, release it, right? So the thing is that these words matter because something in your head holds on to the things you've been told as a child, the things you've been told as a young adult, the traumatic experiences you've gone through. Something holds on to it, and you need to be nice to yourself because there's only one person that's stuck in your head, and that's you. And what I'm learning is that, like spanking, like emotional abuse, like just even neglect, these things stack up over time. And see, and that's why exactly Beth just saying that she's gone through this and gratitude helped. Gratitude, I've talked about this before. Gratitude, and that's what I'm trying to do in my head actually is make lists of things. I am so grateful that the experiences of my life have led me to meet such amazing people. I am so grateful that the experiences of my life have helped me travel around this great nation, have let me help so many people, have helped me throw that pebble into the pond of life, and the ripples outward have touched so many people. Gratitude is a miracle to neuroscience and the brain. It really does tie things together. Being thankful, saying things out loud, making lists that you are thankful for. These are words that matter. These are words that make a difference. And here's the difference. Here's a great story. 2 kids climbing a tree in the backyard. 2 couple of families got together. And these kids are climbing a tree. And all of a sudden the wind picks up. Out here it's a kind of a rainy, cloudy day, and the wind is blowing like crazy. The trees look like this. And it's beautiful to watch. I'm in a 3rd-story apartment. It's beautiful to watch. I love it. So the kids get really high in the tree. And the parents are out back, and they're just kind of drinking their drinks and sitting there, enjoying the weather, enjoying the kids running and playing and utilizing all their energy, hoping for a nap later, right? And then the wind starts to pick up. And one mother yells up, "All right, wind's picking up. Don't let go." And the other parent looks up and says, "Hey, Timmy, hold on." What happens? Well, the kid who was told don't let go, the brain doesn't really register don't, right? The brain doesn't register negatives. It registers concepts. So that brain says, let go. Kid lets go. Tree goes like this. Kid ends up falling, 15 feet onto the ground, hitting the head. Boom. My dad always said kids are made of rubber. So, just check to make sure they're okay and everything should be fine. So the second kid, dad or mom says, hold on tight. Kid holds on tight because that was a first thought. That was a powerful thought. That was the positive thought that gave a direction that was helpful, that was energizing. That was the motivating direction. Like gratitude is a motivating direction. Like thankfulness is a motivating direction. And we can use these ideas, these concepts, to help each other grow, to remind each other. And that's frankly what we're down to. Remember, we are a communal species. when we do these things, I think we can actually examine it in politics, the negative motivation versus the positive motivations, and how they make you feel. Because a negative motivation is meant to divide. It's meant to structure a thought process to kind of pull down or make less than. Now, I'm even hearing myself say that, and I'm like, okay, but don't let go. How is that negative? Well, that don't could have been hold on, right? And it's really the education of that mother, that parent, her life, what she was told, all the reflections of all of that. Because at that point, she is the tooth, she is the finger, she is the eye. She can only act outwards. She can't reflect on what that is. And as one who stands here helping others reflect in their business, in their brand, trying to listen to the words that are used, trying to listen to the powerful motivators and comparators that are pushing people forward, a lot of people are using negative feeling to push themselves forward. And what's happening, and I see it happening a lot right now, what's happening is the opposite of what's intended. Just like that kid falling out of the tree. And it comes to the point that we need someone outside of ourselves to listen and reflect what that should be. Listen to the words that are being said. Listen to if they actually are positive or negative, and help us realize I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am worthy. Because here's the truth. You are living here and now. Wherever you are there. And you are brilliant, and you are beautiful, and you are wonderful, and you are an amazing piece of just manifestation of the universe. Okay? Because if you weren't meant to be, you wouldn't be. It's that simple. There's so much that can go wrong in life, and there's so much trauma we go through just to train us to be part of society, just to train us to be, at first obedient and cheerful and consumerist, and eventually we sort of untrain ourselves enough to say, okay, well, how much are we being manipulated, lied to, trained, tricked, programmed to be a certain way. And it helps to have people that are of an elevated, or what do they call it these days? Awakened, woke. My friend Jamie, Ian Tufts, had a post that was all about being woke, and he said, I think it's just empathy, but it's more than that, because it is an ability to see that, yes, you are going through that experience. However, I also hear the words you are using are damaging to yourself. When you choose somebody who is not a competitor, not somebody you have to argue with, not somebody you have to fight with and say, okay, that person is my new frenemy. I'm just going to go ahead and circle them and put a pin in that, and I'm going to target that. I'm going to do better than them. Yes, it's motivating, but it's really negative motivation. Can you do better than yourself? Can you promise yourself that you are going to do better tomorrow than today? Because you are only ever in today. You can make the best decision for today, for who you are, and hold that tight to yourself and embrace that and thank the universe or God or Jesus or whatever you believe in, that you are here now, because you don't exist in the past. And all of those words that you learned, all of those feelings that were embedded in you, all of that programming, it exists from the past. And ultimately, the reason I'm here, the reason that a lot of you are here, is because you recognize that other people need help reflecting. Because they are the eye, they are the finger, they are the tooth. They are busy living life and doing the things that they are programmed to do, and they don't realize that they need help reflecting on the truth. And the truth is that here and now, in this time, this place that I am experiencing, it is my choice to move beyond those limitations of the past, to embrace who I am, to know that in any given minute, I am enough. Whether I can accomplish something or whether I can't accomplish something, I'm enough. I can figure it out. I can look it up. Thank God I've got the internet, because I can look things up on Google and figure out how to do an oil change on my car myself. I can figure out how to replace the water, the Seattle waterlogged horn on my Element. I can figure out how to take off bumpers and replace my own horn because of the internet. I never thought I would be able to do something like that. I never thought I would work on cars at all. I am not a car guy. That is not something that I do. But I figured out how to do it. Because I'm enough. Because nothing in the past can actually hold me back. Because right now I am here and now, and if it's in the past and it is something that holds me back, I can embrace that was something I went through. It was an experience. I accept it as knowledge. I accept it as experience. I accept it as wisdom, and I help myself move through it. But let me tell you guys, it has taken me a lot of reflection, a lot of self-work to get to this point, a lot of shadow work and parts work to get to this point, and I'm still not perfect. Hell, I'm far from perfect, and I know that every single day I am working on myself and working to be a better me for you. So I guess the point here is that you are the best motivator for you. But it's hard to see when a lot of who we are is programmed from the past, and we need to really embrace the tools. And the tools to use, honestly, are gratitude, journaling. Gratitude and journaling are two of the strongest tools I have used. I can't tell you how many journals I've gone through just making notes and concepts and ideas that popped into my head. Things that actually I didn't understand how much negativity I had inside until I started writing in a journal and then reading it later and going, holy crud, really? That's what you believe? That's what you think you believe? I view my upbringing as very positive, very open, very supportive, very loving, very creative. And yet I still seem to have a lot of programming that is stuff to be working through. And that's exciting. That's the journey. That's the part of being alive, right? Embracing who we are now, overcoming past challenges, being the person to step up and choose to be who you want to be for the future. That's motivation. That's using the comparison of you yesterday to you now, knowing that you are taking steps forward because you are powerful, you are brilliant, you are amazing. And tomorrow, you're going to be even better. So that's what I've got to share for today. That process, I feel better. I feel lighter now that I've kind of gotten it out and worked through some of this. So I thank you for listening to me. I hope a little bit has been beneficial for you. I appreciate people writing in. You are enough. I am enough. You are all enough. You are worthy to be living this life every single minute, every single day. You are worthy and you are amazing. So if you want to if you want to learn more about me, my branding process for coaches, consultants, complementary medicine providers, it's called Manifest Design. It's an 8-step program working through your vision, your brand, your customers, looking at your competition, trying to find unique aspects about you so you can position your business in a way that helps it grow in a brandful way. A brandful. I don't know. I think I'm making up this word. A brand to me is something that creates emotional resonance and relationships with the people that you are working with or the people that are listening to you. And that's important because that is building community with people of like mind and body, right? Like mind and body. And a lot of stuff out there right now is really marketing centric, which is okay, only I don't think a lot of it works. I think that having a foundation within yourself of who you are, what you're moving towards, who you want to work with, what that looks like, is really powerful before you ever get into any kind of marketing, because at that point you can tell the marketer, here's who I am, here's what this looks like, here's why I am so damn powerful and so damn amazing, and that you can sell. That marketing can sell like crazy. As soon as you know how your awesome is, and it's not just some marketer telling you, yeah, you're good, let's make an ad about it. So that's really what, apparently at the moment, that's what my program is about. That's what my mind is holding on to that is important, that wants to share with you that my program is about. And really, it's just the vision, the strategy, the brand strategy to get you moving forward. And I cap that off with some RTT, rapid transformation therapy, to really hone in those subconscious beliefs and get you believing in yourself, in your life, in every instance that you can handle whatever happens because you are enough. If you'd like to see some of my logo work and some of the other sort of corporate stuff that I'm doing, the branding work, you can check out my website, www.thinktankcreative.net. And you're welcome to sign up for a free consultation on there, free half-hour consultation, where we'll just talk about your life, your vision, the things you're doing, to find out if we're even right to work together, because I'm not right to work with everybody, and I get that. I'm me, and I'm going to keep being me and working on me and working with you so that we can all just be the best damn people we can be, because I believe in you, and you are part of this beautiful world that is the ripples that I am throwing the stones into, and I just want to see it go out until there is a rainbow above this pond, right? All right, guys. I love you. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care. Bye.